everything you're hearing should sound fine. It should. It should all just sound just totally okay. Should sound like awesome, like no problems. Should sound like. I'm not saying it does. I'm saying that's what it should. So I need to switch up a camera. So while you guys are coming in, I always misspell. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. All right, of course, I hit the button and it does something. So there, now we're back on this camera. But actually, I need to plug in this other camera over here so I can see. Or I need to move all this and make sure the cords don't get all hung up. And I need to switch this so I can see you guys, so I can see what people are saying. Hey, you're working tonight. I'm always working, AU prospectors. Just because it's stuff you don't know about doesn't mean I'm not doing work. Like, and I'm actually not going to be carving stones tonight because I have a massive headache and I don't want to aggravate it. And my tennis elbow has been flaring up, although I borrowed a pulsating massager from my wife, and that's really been helping me do much more work. I didn't understand until recently that tennis elbow is usually caused from tight. Oh, you meant verse last night. Yeah, that makes some sense, prospector. Because I went and ready to get in that, and I was thinking, does he mean he thinks I'm like back to work? Like, I'm not actually back to work. And I had somebody tell me that with the way Florida plans on using the $600 a week that's supposed to come from the federal government for people that are put out of work because of COVID, that apparently that they're only going to allow like 275 of it to go to people or something like that, which doesn't surprise me with the people that are always running Florida. I mean, the last governor before DeSantis was the guy who has done the largest Medicare fraud in the country. He was voted as the governor of Florida. So, I mean, these people are fucking crazy. Which, yeah. So how does it look? Does it look okay? Is it not all stuttery? Because I think I went through a whole bunch of stuff today figuring out why it was muted. And I figured that part out. And then after I figured out why it was muted, I went back and listened to a couple of the other live streams. And like Jason Media had said, he has a different name too. But like Jason had said, there was definitely a humming, a buzz, a beep, like tinnitus in your ears going on through my mic and stuff. And I spent like 3 hours trying to figure that out. We went from 3 people in the room to 2 people in the room. So maybe it's all still messed up. Yeah, doing pretty good. All right, awesome. And I went and worked trying to figure out what was causing the buzzing. And I spent hours on that today to figure out why there was that beeping going on, and it sounded like it was caused by the microphone, and everything I tried didn't fix it. And then all of a sudden I set up my XSplit broadcaster, and I tried just running through that, and the audio wouldn't run through XSplit into Studio, which is YouTube's thing. And I ended up that just having XSplit running and running my video through XSplit and still having the audio going straight from my cords into the computer. No, it wasn't feedback. I thought that's what it was too. I went through so much stuff today trying to figure out what it was. I mean, at one point in time, I had this this battery charger, because I use reusable batteries. Like anybody with, half sense doesn't just like buy Duracells and throw them away because it's just a freaking waste. And I thought this being next to the cords where all my audio stuff runs, because I have a nice wireless mic that runs from the transponder, and then from the mixer, I just have a little headphone jack that runs from the mixer into my computer, and lagging again. Great. And really wasn't. You know what? I might have started this a little bit early. My great uncle right now is probably on Facebook, and my great aunt right now is probably watching TV through the internet. So I probably should have waited just a little while more before starting this. But to tell you the truth, man, my headache's been killing me so bad that I sort of wanted to get this started. So then after I'm done with this, I go take my shower and lay. Right? I mean, how was a speed test? Hey, D, I left a comment on that stone picture you posted up of your husband had carved, and it looks good for his first try, especially. But I hate to burst his bubble. There's more color underneath that brown. The brown top piece that you have the ring hanging in, there's actually more color in that, which I want another web page and then try and drag it in. I already have 2 major programs running right now, but I could tell by looking at the picture, excuse me, that right where the past the other bubble where he made like that spade looking piece where the tip of the spade is where he put his ring, just on the other side of the bubble where he where the good bubble he carved, and then on the back side of that, I could see other color starting to come out, and underneath the brown where it goes like that, I could see there's more color in that piece. Like, you might want to think about carving it some more, because I'm telling you, there's more color in there than tinnitus sounding beep happening, because that was driving me crazy today. I spent hours on that, and the fix doesn't make any sense. What I got to fix it did not make any sense. Yeah, D, that's the way this whole stone thing is with carving fire egg. It's constant fear and, oh, did I go too far? Oh, should I have gone far enough? Oh, I'm gonna ruin it. It's that shit is constant. It's non-freaking stop. That stone that I was going to work on for you guys today, which of course is not going to focus because not enough light anyways. You guys saw the picture of it anyways. I could probably pull a picture up actually. That stone that that stone that I was planning on doing some work on and doing a live stream of yesterday, that the main picture of was yesterday, that thing is totally driving me crazy. At the same time, it has a ton of different colors going on in it that are pretty freaking ridiculous, to tell you the truth. It totally does. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Sorry. I need to pull out. I forget how to. It's been a while since I need to do a to where I have my preset up and what's running live, and I forgot how that was set up. This stone right here, it has these layers that sit on, and then has another layer of color under that. Layers of color are really, really thin, like that little purple you see right there and that blue. They are ultra, ultra thin, but I was able to expose them on this top area right here. And then it had, it's a true rainbow stone. This area up here is like the naked eye. It's not showing up good on the picture. The naked eye, this is a very dark purple, not like super reflective, bright like this purple, but it's still trying to polish it. It hasn't taken a polish. The rest of it's taken a polish really good, but there's a whole bunch of little areas that just aren't good enough for me. Because this stone's probably going to be 10 to 15 carats. It's extremely top heavy. It has lots of bubbles on top of it. And being that it has lots of bubbles, like or silver, whatever it gets put into, it deserves gold. This is $1,000 stone, true rainbow stone. It's another reason I want to finish it properly. Like it's totally a 3-figure stone. How many stones have you seen out there that have colors like that and are that bulbous, sticking out? Like if you have a ring made of this, people are going to see it. Like it's noticeable. And because of its length, I already have it on a. The length is You go and put it on a ring, it's like be very long. It'll fit anybody's finger, a man or a woman, but it'll be a very long ring. Very long stone centerpiece. Would make a very good man's ring stone. So there's that. Now I need to go back to the other page to see what you guys are saying. AU Prospector has a really good point, D. Don't have fear, just do it. If you mess up, oh well, learned lesson learned, try again. It's good to have that mentality and start on stones that you're about not screwing it up. And then there's all this time and effort you put into a stone that then can be screwed up. And man, that's very heartbreaking. I've done that stuff a few times now, to where I spent all this time on a stone and I decided to go for like a deeper color, and the deeper color didn't go the way I thought it was going to. And then I have to recarve it. And now I have this great flashing green on the ring. And then in the center, it's like not that awesome. I agree with you. Having fun is what it's about. Yet for some of us, making money and making great gemstones and getting good at that part is also what it's about. And you can't sort of learn to get good at anything about it, then you're doing the wrong thing. I had somebody else come in and say on one of the comments today about my chasing fire. I think it's episode 6 or 7, where it's the polish of the stone, where he said that I could have done that whole series in a 6-minute video, that people didn't need to see everything that I had done, that it was too long-winded. And I had to disagree with him. And I'm sure most of you would probably disagree with him too. He doesn't carve fire agate. It's that simple, because there's nothing simple about carving fire agate. It's not like cutting cabochons. Like, it's not. It's way more difficult. Cutting cabs is way easier and not near as time consuming as carving a piece of fire agate. Like, you can cut a whole ton of cabochons in the time I cut one really nice piece of fire agate. And the time and effort that's put into it, like, fire agate is truly undervalued right now. Very similar to it too, but smaller. I have another stone that I think they must have come out of the ground about the same time, because it's a bit smaller, but it has the same ear markings as this other one, that it's going to be very banded with colors, and it's going to have multiple different colors running through it. I'm hoping to pull the colors out as good as it's been pulled out on this one. What up, Jason? How you doing, buddy? I was talking about you before you got in the room. Got 5 people in the room. They were like, oh, he's just going to be talking to people. We don't want to go and watch that. So if you don't type something, I don't really have too much to say, man. To tell you the truth. I mean, I one of the reasons I didn't type anything into oh, nothing. You didn't do nothing wrong, man. I don't even remember what it was. It wasn't any big deal. It was just a reference to you in some way. I didn't type the last couple of days into buy me a cup of coffee, because I think I'm one of those people. It's like dying on my sword. Like, I honestly think that that buy me a cup of coffee doesn't leave me enough room to do other things than just like have a subscription. And I'm wondering if I want to keep on with that, or maybe I just want to give up my whole personal value system on why I'm not using Patreon, because really it is just my own thing on why I'm not using Patreon. It's you guys have heard me say it over and over again, but I mean, I'm like one of the only people, and I'm never going to do anything that would ever get me banned off of there or anything like that, because I don't do that kind of content. I'm not that kind of person that thinks that sort of way. I'm not like prejudiced or racist in any way. I would say some messed up stuff being jokingly and stuff like that, but in all honesty, that sense of humor I used to have like that is sort of gone now. It was sort of beat out of me by my marriage. I used to say all kinds of fucked up shit because it was funny, and now I don't even think like that anymore for some reason. That's awesome, D. My phone email is full, so I had to resend to the channel email. Ko-Fi has not got me a cup yet. Coffee has not got me a cup yet. Resort Dog, are you talking about my email is full? I need to go and clear that email account. That might be why there's been some delivery issues. You need to send me your phone number, man. I need to talk to you on the phone. I'd honestly like to interview you for the podcast that I have coming up. And to tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind interviewing your arch nemesis too. I'm not sure he would let me interview him because he tried friending me on Facebook years ago, and I blocked the dude because I knew everything about him before he ever tried to contact me. So I was like, no, get away. But now with everything that's been going on, I really wouldn't mind interviewing him and getting his side of the story of, all those years ago and stuff like that. I think it would totally piss Glenn off. That is his name, right? His name is Glenn, right? Resort Dog. And D, have you seen the video of the guy in Mexico spraying aerosols through the masks? You need to buy a type of material that's not truly breathable. Like if you can sneeze right through those masks are worthless. Like it's nothing personal against you, sweetheart. It's just a fact. Like my wife is actually gloating about how she have made a deal with a manufacturer of masks, and they have started manufacturing iPad covers and cell cover off the phone and throw it away when they throw the gloves away and stuff like that. I was just saying that the video that the Mexican guy put up spraying aerosols through different masks was extremely telling and a very good video. And I can't believe that a whole bunch of English-speaking fools haven't stolen his idea, because the idea was awesome. Like you did not need to speak Spanish or Portuguese or whatever the hell he was speaking. I didn't understand. It's probably Spanish. You did not need to be able to speak his language and understand what he was telling you when he was spraying those aerosols through like 15 different freaking masks and all of them like tossing away. I will say that those blue shop towel paper towels, they are thicker and they are very woven. I'm not really sure about if they will stop the actual aerosol breath sneezing, going through, passing through. Resort Dog, you need to send me your phone number if you actually have a phone anymore. And how's Scott been doing? I tried calling him like a year ago or something, and the phone was disconnected, it said. I'm not sure if it still is, or if he's found a reason to be mad at me or something, which I doubt, because, we're homies, right? How does the audio sound? Is there any beeping, buzzing, loud ringing? Oh, Pat had a stroke. That's horrible. He's going to be there next month. That's awesome. I'm sorry about Pat. Is he helping take care of Pat because she had a stroke? Sounds good. Awesome. Appreciate that, AU Prospector. You guys have been dealing with some horrible sound, and I don't understand why this fixes it, but it does. That's I can't do anything about that. It might be because of the other internet usage that's going on in the house, but it's definitely not because of my plugins and stuff like that. It's absolutely because of the way the internet is right now. She's with her kids. That's good. Sucks she had a stroke. Is she still functioning, or is it like, messed up left hand side of her body, or is it minor stroke? Or because like my great aunt had a stroke a few years ago, and it ended up being really minor. Yeah, right. Everybody's home. Yep, that's the one to remove. She has to work on one side, but she did not go for 5 days from onset. Oh, are you kidding me? Dude, I don't understand that one. Like, if you thought you've had a stroke in any way, shape, or form, you take your ass to the doctors, even if it's a tiny one. Like, yeah, I see what you're saying. She lived alone. You get, or if you live alone, you get ideas. Just going numb, but it messes with your smarts. She started feeling all numb in one side and thought it was like no big deal when she started like numbness in her hands or in her foot or something like that. That makes sense. I could see how thinking that was like no big deal until all of a sudden you fucking can't move the whole left side of your body. I mean, that's pretty much what happened with my great aunt too. Like she said, her leg was numb or something like that. She didn't think it was any big deal, and then all of a sudden later on that day, she couldn't move her leg at all, and that was how she knew she had a stroke. I think that's what she said. That's horrible. Oh man, stay as fit as you possibly can. Uh, a lot of strokes happen with elderly people because they're sitting too much. Literally, because of sitting too much, because of the legs being bent too much. Like, walk, do workouts. I just started working out again. I went inside and then I bought too much crap to carry in a backpack. And I didn't notice it. Put everything in the backpack and I came walking home, and I mean, it was heavy and I was having problems just because I was like, oh my God, I put too many cans. Why did I buy so many cans when I knew I was going to buy so much bananas? And my backpack was super heavy. And then I took the backpack off, and about 5 minutes after I turned the backpack off, I went to turn like this and my neck. I've had a freaking crink in my neck ever since, man. Like, there's only been stretching it and stuff, but especially when I turn this way, I can feel that like cord of pain that runs from my neck down to my. Strokes are not good, man. The best way to avoid strokes is literally just to keep as physically fit as you possibly can. Like, they can still happen, but the best way to avoid strokes is to have that blood pumping through your system. Like Jack LaLanne, man. Juice a little bit and work out every day. Doesn't have to be 2 hours like Jack LaLanne did, but you see that dude when he was like in his 80s or 90s or something like that. Like, that dude was ridiculous. But he's the proof of good physical health. Like, good physical health will help you live longer, live better, and live longer. You went to Stairs and Hills University, yeah, right. Well, I would bet where you're living at, Resort Dog, nobody has any of this COVID. I mean, it's such a small town. It's so in the middle of nowhere. I just imagine there's probably nobody in that area that has any of this crap. Whereas everywhere else, it's increasing. I'll probably delete this chat tomorrow too. This is literally just for my people, and because they went through so much yesterday trying to get this up and have a headache. And tomorrow I'll do video of carving this fire ass piece I have right here. But I have a whole bunch of pieces that I thought were ready, and then I polish them, and then there's like little areas of them that I'm like not quite happy with. And I have this one. Where is it? You guys won't be able to see anyways, but I have this one. Here it is. I have this one that while I was carving it, I could see like red and blue and this weird teal green and like a purple. And it was like, it's odd. Like, they're wispy colors on top of brown, because when I go to polish them, you can barely see them for all the brown. There's like a bronze and a brown, and you can barely see that teal, and you can barely see that purple. And it's not it's underneath the brown look. It's the it's like barely on the brown look. There's barely any there. So I mean, it's thick enough that I can recarve it into something else and hope there's better color underneath. Yeah, like that. There's like a lipstick red in here that's like so light. It's unfortunate that it didn't come out more. Yeah, like I said, the stone's thick enough I can recarve it. It's a pain in the ass, though. The thing I dislike most is recarving a stone multiple times. Like, I always come out with a worse thing later. Oh, Humboldt County had a cluster, huh? Yeah, but that's the county. A county is a large area. I was more thinking of the town you live in. County's like very much larger than a town. You know, like you can have many towns inside of counties. So I was just thinking that your town itself probably doesn't have anything. I forget what little town you live in. We do have 17,000 in the county. Yeah. That's oh, you have 17,000 cases? I was thinking when you said 17,000, I was thinking 17,000 people. But then when you said we have 30, maybe 30 in denial, that can't be cases. You have to have 30 people in denial, right? And if the whole county only has 17,000 people, dude, I mean, that's like a corner of a city. Yeah, total people. Exactly. Like that's not very many people at all. It's a very small amount of people. There's more than that. Like there's easily more than that in Fort Walton Beach. Has more people than your whole county does, but it's Florida, so you know. Not that I'm a fan of Florida. So I've been working on getting this Talking Rocks podcast off the ground, and nobody wants to let me interview them. Everybody I've talked to that I know would be interesting does not want to let me do that. Like it's been, for some people, it's been a just not responding, putting me on hold, and it's been like days and days and days. And then for other people, it's been like a hard no. And that's sort of frustrating to me. It's I keep trying to get things off the ground that need somebody else to be involved, and I always seem to run into problems because of having or needing somebody else to be involved. But in all honesty, there's just no way. I have no want to do a podcast. It's just me talking and chatting, like, you know, by myself about random stuff. Like that's not what I want to do at all. And I know this idea I have is a good people that's trying to like make people look bad or anything like that at all. More like find out the interesting stories and the knowledge that other people had all corrupted now that I'm sure I know how to record it properly. Because there was a lot of really good information in there. I don't think it'll sound rehearsed, but we need to talk at least about two of the subjects for a second time on recording. They were really good information to have and just really true. I mean, nobody who owns a mine and claim can really argue with what he said. And one of the other things he had really good insight on is how to locate the source of a mineral. His philosophy on that was just excellent. That's Plush, Oregon. Denio, Nevada is the town that's right outside of the Black Opal mines. That's Denio. What do you mean it's a timing thing, Resort Dog? And I appreciate that you'll do it, that you even said that. You are definitely an interesting person, and you have a lot of insight into the opal and the claims and stuff out there. You have a lot of you're a perfect person to interview, dude, because I mean you have a lot of stuff to say, number one, but you could really use somebody to keep you on track and to not let you get so I'm thinking like use big words, but that's the wrong terminology. You go too deep into things as to make them not understandable, because sometimes when we be having conversations out there in the desert, you would get so deep that I would have a problem understanding some of the stuff. So, hello, Misty Epperson. Yes, you're right, Resort Dog. There are sunstones further wide than Plush. That is absolutely true. Yeah, that's another. I would like to talk to the guy. I'd like to interview the guy out at Opal Butte. I would also like to interview the people that hold the claim that's all off by itself, that has the really hard basalt they break the sunstones out of, but I can't remember his name. And I honestly really think that I need to get my first idea to get this off the ground, and all the research I did was like, don't publish your it said don't publish your podcasts until you have 5 in the can. That's 5 fully recorded, because then, you know, you have time to do others and get them set up and get them posted, and people will have more to listen to when you go ahead and post the first 2 up pretty much at the same time. And I thought that was a great idea, and I thought that's exactly how I do it. And then I really didn't think to get so many no's from so many people. Like, oh my God. I really thought some of these people would be really into letting people hear them speak, and not like just to hear them speak, but so they could explain certain things about the way things work in their world, and why they are certain ways that they are. And it just didn't turn out to be like that for some of these people. And I mean, one of them, he could really use that. Like he has so many people that talk so much smack about him, but he's actually a really good dude. And he has a lot of interesting stories. Like, his stories are phenomenal, some of the stuff that he's been through. Yet he's not interested in doing a podcast. It seems like he's not interested in being interviewed. And God, it would really help the way some people look at his persona. Like, it would really help the way that some people view him majorly, because there's just so much drama about him in the scene. And a good portion of that's crap. Some of it's true, but a good portion of it's crap. I don't think I know Chuck, Resort Dog. Is Juniper Ridge in Virgin Valley? Or is Juniper Ridge the Opal Butte area of Oregon? Oregon, is that what I think? Am I mixing up 2 things? I'm not sure if I'm mixing up 2 things or not. Hey, thanks, Ghost. Appreciate that, man. Don't care about anyone. You are the best, and your fans have fun. Yes, dude, I love my viewers, to tell you the truth, man. I've made a lot of friends through this YouTube channel that I contact, and I stay up with people on a regular basis and stuff like that. Like, that's how I met Eric, and you guys will be seeing a podcast with me and Eric in not too long. He works for the forestry. He's a super intelligent guy. And he's really amazing at finding things out and learning a process for things, to make things work under a process. He's really, really good at that. Ham had broken chisel mining the fire opal. Like, what the hell does that mean? Like, why is it said like that? It's okay if you type like this, 1 finger at a time. That's totally fine, but you have to type more, my man. Like, podcast some fans. I plan on putting some of the podcasts on this channel, but I plan on starting a dedicated channel to the podcast once I get the podcast off the ground. there's so many things to talk about when it comes to being in this industry, and there's so many facets of this industry, and shit, there's so many facets of geology and being a geologist. There's a bunch of geologists I would like to interview. I've been trying to one of the other guys I want to interview, I tried looking up who the head geologist of all the BLM is, and apparently there's not one. The head guy of the BLM is not a geologist. The person apparently that actually runs the BLM right now has no real credentials to do something like that. Apparently, is what I found out. Is like an appointee, like so. I have to basically, I could, in order to get like head geologists of BLM, it's like there's a head geologist of the BLM that's in Arizona, and then there's the head geologist of an area of Utah, and then there's a head geologist of the area of Nevada and stuff like that. So I mean, I was hoping to get like the top guy of all of them, but apparently there's not one. There's not a top guy of all those guys. Chuck Noonham, the owner of that Fort Oregon, of Opal Butte, the Oregon opal mine. Misty Epperson asks, when you went to the public area at the Sunstone mines, could you camp overnight? Yes, Misty, there are campgrounds in the plush. Yeah, that's right. I'm using the right terminology. It's not even in plush, though. It's a ways from plush. In the public Sunstone area, there is a set up campground in that area with fire pits and pavilions and stuff like that. Yeah, yes, you can totally camp there for 2 weeks, I do believe. Excuse me. Yes, you can camp there, no problem. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Not that I left anywhere, blowing my nose. You might want to belay those plans, Misty, because I'm pretty sure that they shut down the area to the public to keep people from taking this coronavirus time as a time to go out to places like that and dig, because then they're not really like social distancing and staying at home and all that sort of stuff. You might want to check, but I'm pretty sure I saw the owner of the Spectrum Sunstone mine put up posts about how they closed that area down. He can go to his claims, no problem, but also his is a patented claim, which means he owns it. Like he actually owns that plot. It's much different than any other type of claim. When it's patented, like you pretty much own the spot, and his mill site and his mine are basically one and the same site. Not Opal Butte. That was Precious Thunder Eggs. And Ponderosa is the other Sunstone mine. Oh, thank you very much for clearing that up, Resort Dog. Appreciate you clearing that up, buddy. You're welcome, Misty. I could totally be wrong, but I'm really pretty positive about that. Just check. I mean, there's probably something online saying something about it. That is a BLM area, though, and it's another reason to have interview geologists from the BLM, because I'm just not a fan of theirs, and maybe they could explain some things that would make me more of a fan of theirs. Pretty sure they also banned tools on Heart Mountain, surface collecting only in the refuge now. Yeah, that. I think that freaking sucks, to tell you the truth. Like, it's rather upsetting to me. Here's a question. Oh, you got to call me, Resort Dog. I got questions. Like, you got to send me your phone number so I can call you. I got questions about that frickin' here. Let me see if I can pull it up. No problem. No, apparently I can't. Maybe I can email it to myself. Probably not. Nope, it's not in there. It's on my Facebook. If I type in claim. Oh, there it is. I did find it. Now let me see if I can add it to a screen. Yep, there it is. What do you know? So I got a question for you. I don't mind asking right now about this this eBay claim. Right, things that he talks about inside this claims is I will warrant the title on these two claims as senior and valid via notarized affidavit with a guaranteed total refund of the purchase price, like he could afford it, in the event that the claim is invalid or not senior within 2 years of location date, September 2019, as per Nevada State. He earlier, I swore I saw that he had talked about this claim that there were other people claiming that it was theirs, but the the prior owner tried to relocate them after I had acquired them, but those junior claims have no rights as it is a matter of priority instead of load versus placer. I have these claims up for sale a little while back and took them down waiting on the BLM to check land status. There is no way that the junior claimant can win these claims. I have consulted with attorneys and have read the laws myself on this. They also can't win by taking down the post. That's illegal and does not affect the validity of the claim. Okay. So my question to you is, that dude never steps foot inside of Virgin Valley, does he? Like, he talks about somebody else pulling down his signposts. I doubt he even has any posts up from everything I've heard. That's not what I meant by run by the BLM, Misty. If the BLM shuts it down, then you can't really be there. That's what I meant. That's what I figured. So it's the same game that I've been hearing that he plays, whereas he's not actually staking any claims physically. He's just filing paperwork. And for anybody that's watching this now, those claims in that first paragraph with him talking about all the problems he's going to have, the person that had those claims, if he filed before them, if they forgot to file 1 year, all their equipment is still on that claim. Last time I drove through there, they had a bunch of their stuff still out on those claims. The problem is that with the way the BLM works, he's basically selling somebody the ability to go to court and fight somebody else. Like, that's literally what he's selling right there. Like, he's basically selling them the claims, and then they have to go and fight somebody to get them to back down or get a judge to validate one of side of the claims of the other, because the BLM will let 50 people post the same claims on the same place. I can go and claim that same place, and the BLM will say, well, you own it too. Like, we don't care. You gotta fight it out with them. Like, you got to go take them to civil court. That's what you have to do. So the whole problem with that whole thing is needing to battle it out with somebody else in court. If you're going to buy those claims, I hope you have the money to spend another minimum of $20,000 in order to beat the other people that are saying that they have those claims staked. Selling claims, somebody actually purchases them, and then he's using other people's comments about why the claims are worth it. The reason the claims are worth it, there's only one reason: because you cannot dig out there otherwise. Like, there's no ability to dig in the Virgin Valley now unless you're on somebody's claim. Like, that's the only ability you have to dig out there. And I would imagine with all of the claims that are out there and all of the claims that haven't been touched by the claim owners in 10 years, there's a lot of room to claim jump claims, because there's a lot of claims out there that people are basically sitting on and not doing anything with. So if you were to pick the right one and go and stake markers and then go and prove that you're working the claim, and then be out there for a period of time to prove that nobody else works their claim over a period of time, you could totally claim jump some people out there. At the same time, it's not worth it. If I was going to buy a claim in the Virgin Valley, I would want one with the mill site, because then that means that you got a place that you can actually stay out there. And the reality is that you're not really going to find the amazing Lightning Ridge style opal. You're going to find some amazing wood opal. You're going to find some amazing pine cones. You're going to find some really cool collectible stuff. But the majority of it is not going to be something you're ever going to wear in a ring unless you dip it in hard epoxy so that it never actually has an opportunity to dry out. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And the reality is that as far as color goes, Resort Dog has more beautiful black opal than I've ever seen coming out of Lightning Ridge. Like, the colors are ridiculous. They're amazing. But they're in water. They're still in water. He claims he surveyed in about 20 claims while they were being arrested and bailed, etc., plus located more. He's just copying maps offline and lying to people about being defrauded, about defrauding people. Plenty I'd sell you cheap just to not let him cheat you. $200 for the info. That's what he hates, as I live there and people don't need him. Yes, don't come here for the riches. Come here to live. You can only cut the pieces so far. I love opals. You are never going to find another place except for maybe Ethiopia where you can find such large, amazingly colorful opals. But like a lot of opals in Ethiopia, they're just not stable. At the same time, some opals come out of there the size of your fist, and I mean, that's pretty freaking cool. Like, I mean, if you're a rock collector, it's an awesome place to be. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, and then I have a couple of pieces. The lighting's bad. Maybe if I fix the lighting, I can show you. Let me show you a couple of these pieces real quick, Resort Dog, because I have a couple of pieces of opal. Move this light back there. That I got off of your buddy's claim that I have not totally cleaned up yet, but they didn't craze. But they're not precious either. They're fire opals. Limb casts. Really orange, like orange. I gotta move the. Did not craze, really orange. Have not pulled it out of the bentonite clay yet. Whoops, not on screen. Focus for me. There we go. But you can see even the white part, like it's really, really stable as far as that goes. And then here's the other side, which is on this side, it's mainly clay, but still you can see it's not all cracked and crazed at all. And this side either, it's not all cracked and crazed at all. Lick it real quick. Oh, wrong way. So, I mean, it's totally possible that you could pull something out of the ground that's not going to be all crazed and that it might dry and be really beautiful. I mean, that it is possible. And it might be possible that man's claim has stuff that's more stable. At the same time, I had heard, and I think it was you. Yeah, I'll bet there are, Resort Dog. Lots of open claims. You wish it was clearer. Well, I mean, the problem with it though is that it's and that light's too bright in my eyes. It's not clean. I mean, who knows how clear that actually is, because it's from the way it broke. It's never been touched. It's sat in water, and then at some point that jar it was in, its seal lost, and then the jar just completely dried out on its own. And then that's the way those are, from the jar they were in completely drying out on its own. So, I mean, who knows, how nice they'll be if they're cut properly. Yet at the same time, knowing what I've found out now, I don't want to cut them using water. I want to cut them using wood and polishing agents, like that little round spoolie thing that you can buy to cut opals, which it doesn't really use water because it doesn't create that much heat. Hell, I've transferred too much heat to some of my Australian opals and cracked them out pretty good. Which, if you ever want to buy some Australian opals, by the way, Resort Dog, I have an amazing hookup for Australian opals. They sell like their prices are ridiculous because they're coming straight out of the mine, straight out of the mine owners. The prices are pretty dirt cheap. If I could afford to invest to resell, I would. The only problem is a lot of times I get this stuff in my hand and I'm hesitant to sell it. It's happened to me a lot, like thinking about giving up on Patreon and starting one up again for the Talking Rocks podcast, so I can actually do different things and have different levels and have different kinds of giveaways and stuff like that. And if I do, I'm going to do it this month, being this my birthday month. And then if I do that, I'm going to shut down my Buy Me a Cup of Coffee page, and I'm going to give the 3 people that have been the supporters on the Buy Me a Cup of Coffee page each a piece from Australia that I got from our friend Ryan. He sent me a whole box of amazing opals and I mean amazing opals, and I figure I'll just send 3 pieces of like chrysocolla. That's not it, is it? Yeah. Chrysocolla, the really green stuff. Hey, I think I'm saying chrysoprase. That's what I knew I'd send you. I think I know the exact piece to send you. I have this amazing little Australian doublet that's ridiculously fireful. That's like, it's beautiful. So, hey, Margaret, how you doing, girl? Chrysoprase. Sorry about that, Resort Dog. But that box of stuff he sent me is freaking ridiculous, man. If you didn't see that video, it's just a bunch of amazingness. And he sent me some cut stones in there too. And he sent it so I would sell it to make money. And I always don't want to sell things too cheap for some reason. Oh, always liked him after that. He's definitely a real good supporter. I mean, the man spent $50 just to mail me the damn box. I'm not trying to sell the stuff for pennies on the dollar, and I really think I would because I don't understand the prices. And I go to places like opal auctions and gemstone auctions, and then I think about pricing them as according to that. But then I also see the prices varying wildly, so that I'm like lost again. I'm like, I don't freaking know. I don't know what to do. Don't do nothing. That's what when I don't know what to do. Do nothing. I'm going to have to start stepping up my damn Instagram game too. I've had a bunch of people get on me about my Instagram game and that how much it could have helped me if I would just be using it and how I haven't been using it. And they're right. I have not been using it, and it probably would be a giant help if I did. You know what? Since I got that light here, I'm going to show off a couple of stones real quick. This one, and this one. Things down. Focus. This is the one that I had the picture up of a little while ago. And the problem with it is the little areas like that right there. I reworked it and I haven't polished it since. But in order to get polish in some of these cracks that are sort of dull, I'm going to have to use like really small pieces of wood with some polishing agent on them because the bristles on brushes just aren't getting it. And this side, you can see that raspberry like red with the dark purple on top. Purple, it's almost a black. And the head of it, this being the head, is very cherry red with a bronze underneath. And I almost think this light is too bright because, yeah, I sort of have to turn it. The sides from one angle will be blue. Will be blue. Focus, camera. The sides from one angle will be blue and green and purple. And then from another angle, it'll be blood red. But it's definitely the most colorful stone I've worked yet. It has a bunch of craziness going on. I think this should be a big fat ring stone. I definitely think it deserves gold. Quite done, like I said, though. All the good ones end up needing, there's more stuff that needs to be done to them. This is a really great one, too. I worked this a while on camera. It has the same problem as the other one. I took it to a really nice polish, and then the polish didn't get into the creases. So I need to polish the creases with something besides the brush wheel. Need to be polished with like a little piece of wood to get into the. Trying to get really good at this to where, you know, I'm carving top quality gemstones, not mediocre ones. And this definitely has the coloring of a top quality gemstone, that's for sure. I think that one's only going to be a couple of carats because it's so thin. It's not so thin it's danger of breaking, but it just doesn't have a lot of depth to it. Yet the colors are green and teal and blue and purple. The colors are the one that when you guys were here and I was carving on it, it had that blue eye on it. It had that blue eyeball right there. Well, now the blue is totally gone. And I tried finding blue in the back of the stone. And I went through the green. And then I got under. So I took what I could get. That's off camera because it's got great colors running through it, especially when it moves. You can see them. There's no brown left in it. Just needs to be carved where it's just a nice little ring stone. And where's that other one I was talking about earlier? Now this one has really sort of pissed me off. Focus, camera. You can see that purple. You can see that red. Yet they're not super thick and bright on it. They're like really thin and wispy to where most of the time, from most angles, the stone just looks damn brown. And it's really upsetting to me. Of course, the sides have these really bright neon colors. It's upsetting to me because I think to bring the best out of this stone, I have to recarve the whole face of it. Which means all that time I spent on it's just a freaking waste. It's because I got to redo all of it pretty much. And usually when I have to do that, I end up coming up with something that's not near as good. That's always upsetting. Yes, it is. Always upsetting, like with this other piece I'm about to show you. See, this piece, when I started on it, it had an edge. So I tried carving underneath of it, and I tried carving through that to get it, the whole thing to be green. And it just didn't work. I ended up with this brown with some really beautiful green strokes in it. Like not a totally ugly stone, but the other stone I had was better than what I have now. So trying to get it better, I ended up with something that was weaker than what I first started out with. And that always aggravates the hell out of me. It really does. It gets underneath my damn skin, man, I tell you what. You can tell it's not a total waste. It's still a good piece of fire agate, but it's just not as good as it could be and could have been. And it was. It could have been. It was. It was a better stone than it is now. And this one, I think, is going to end up being like that other big one. The first one I showed off with all the layers of different colors going. Worked on it a little bit. It's showing me the same sort of peakings, different colors, banding of the colors. But sometimes to carve a really great stone, you have to recarve that stone a few times. That's what I'm finding out, especially when you're like a novice. Because I totally think I'm a dumbass sometimes. I think I have great ideas with some really dumbass shit mixed in. I really appreciate it though, B. James. Thank you. Yeah, it's got some wicked stuff going on. It's got a raspberry red and like a cherry red and like really bright greens, like two different colors of green going on in it. It's by far the most rainbow stone I've had yet. Like, it's going to be a ridiculous ring stone. It really is. Oopsie. And I'm 100% positive I'm going to end up selling it. It's just got so much going on. I think it's a very expensive stone, so it's probably a stone that I need the money out of more than I need the stone. 10 people in the room. Wow, we're doing good right now, and this is right about the time when I plan on killing this live stream so I could take a shower, go to bed. Somebody say something so I have something else to talk about. Type, damn it, type. Is it lagging real bad? That's a question I can ask you. Is it lagging real bad? Not hear from unemployment. There was a thing in our newspaper. I actually spoke about this earlier in the beginning of the live stream. There was a it is lagging on your end. That sucks, Misty. There was a thing in our newspaper saying that the Florida unemployment office was only going to be allowing $265 a week instead of the $600 that the federal government was allowing. And my great aunt told this to me when I woke up one day, and I was like, I'm not surprised. You know, Florida likes to screw people over. But then I'm thinking, like, I'm not even sure if that's going to be accurate or if she's mistaking them basically saying that, you know, the average typically that Florida gives is $265 a week. That, good night, Resort Dog. Have a good dinner, buddy. Hey, Catfish. She could totally be wrong. I didn't read that in the newspaper. I didn't read that myself. I know the implication is that I was only working for 4 or 5 days before they laid me off. Now, in the official original Florida rules and in almost every other state, I would not qualify for anything working that short of a period. But with the COVID rules, I'm supposed to because I'm only out of work because of COVID. So let's hope. Here's hoping. You got your orders from me yesterday and opals. That was fun. Yay, Margaret. Congratulations. Have you carved all the old stuff already? If you have, man, you've been burning through it. Like, post some of your carvings on the Mining America Facebook page. Definitely do that. Definitely do that. You are by far my best customer out of my store, Margaret. You and D are the biggest supporters I have. That's not even a question. That's like far and ahead. You're like the Kobe and LeBron of helping support me. It was making people wait outside. There was like 15 people in a line outside. I don't know how many people they were only allowing inside the building or whatever, but it seems sort of. Oh, that's a good idea, Margaret. Now's a good time to do it. I'm going to be posting up more stuff in not too long because I need to. To say to keep me on or keep me talking for a few minutes, let me know because I'm ready to shut this down. I've had a headache for the last few hours. I'm ready to go and take my shower. Catfish Miller says it's buffering too. It's not just you, Catfish. It's probably my feed that's buffering on you. It's been like that. Oh, well, they had people standing away from each other, Margaret. They were scarf wrapped around her face and dudes have bandanas on and stuff like that. And a bunch of people wearing shit that doesn't do anything. That's not helpful at all. Like, it might give them the placebo effect, but that's about it. And I'm walking around like Darth Vader. Everybody's buffering really hard. That's a good time. Misty's about to leave too. An hour and 20. It was just a chat to let you guys know that this whole thing's working again. I think the next video I do, I just need to go ahead and record it and shoot it. And it's going to be about using small pieces of wood to get in between the really fine crevices because there's no other way to polish them. Like the other things just don't do it. And most of you already know that. I need to do some videos on some other stuff, yet I have not been researching anything because I spend my time. I want to get these stones ready for sale. I was planning on like having like 10 stones going to the store that are cut and ready to go. Although the first stone I cut hasn't even sold out of the store yet. And it's a banger. It's really worth the $140. If any of you think about buying a piece of fire, you should buy that stone that's in my store right now. It's really worth the money. It's better than the pictures, I guarantee. What up, Chicano Azteca? Flexing my extra TP. Yeah, right. Well, I don't think it's as rare as it was 3 weeks ago now. Like when it started disappearing all over the country, I went to Sam's Club and let me show you. I went to Sam's Club and they had one pallet left of eggs, and I was kicking myself. I was like, fuck, man, I can't believe I'm about to pay $25 for toilet paper. You know, one of the things that's really got to me, though, is the egg prices. Anybody else see eggs going up through the roof? It was like $7, and then like the big 5 dozen. The 5 dozen thing is usually like $4.82 or something like that. It's almost $12. The price of eggs is going through the roof. Chicken still costs the same price, but eggs are more expensive. Like, yep, TP is back in the stores. Woohoo! I never really ran out. I made sure I stayed up on all the toiletries I needed. Yeah, and in all honesty, Margaret, if they're real farm eggs and not chicken farm eggs, because and don't buy that bullshit on that these people are selling. They got their eggs in the package of eggs says vegetarian fed, like it's something special. Like, no, that means they're feeding them freaking GMO corn. That's why the yolks are so whitish yellow and not so bright orange yellow. Like your bright orange yellow eggs, they're creamier. The yolk is creamier, it's thicker. And it's because they eat worms and they eat bugs. And like Joe Rogan says, chickens are monsters. Like they're dinosaurs. They're carnivores. They need to eat stuff that has blood in it. Like when they don't eat things that have blood in them, the shells are weak and the yolk is waterier. It's not as good. It's not. It's really not. Like free range eggs that actually fed freaking corn. So anytime you see the packaging and it says, "Oh, vegetarian fed," that's not a good point. Like that's a bad point. Like that's they're using reverse psychology. Like nice, Catfish. That's the way to go. Have somebody in the family that raises chickens. Misty, when everyone realized the virus. That's awesome, Margaret. Those are the best eggs. It's so funny. Virus. All right, guys. Well, unless anybody has a serious question they want to type out real quick, I think I'm going to wrap it up right about here. We went about 20 minutes longer than I thought I was going to go anyways. I just wanted to triple check that this is all working good again. I mean, obviously it's buffering on people and stuff like that. And I'll go scan through the video tomorrow and stuff, or Monday. And I will do my best to get some people to interview, because I'm telling you, these conversations are good. They will be great to listen to while you're working, having something to listen to while you're carving rocks and while you're cutting cabochons and stuff like that. Because the reality is that while we're doing stuff like that, we need to still have other stuff going, and either music or people talking. Like my favorite thing to do when I'm carving gemstones is to listen. One other that Joe's buddy, Joey Diaz, like I will listen to, but I don't catch him all that often. The Church of What's Happening Now. I basically catch his clips, but he's so street. He reminds me of friends of mine and stuff like that, because I came from the streets, and like his vernacular, which is all cuss words and ghetto talk, but like white Italian ghetto instead of like, black hood ghetto. I just really identify with, and the way he says things just remind me of somebody who's like been in horrible situations, just says it how he saw it. So I like his podcast too, but most other people's podcasts, I'm just not interested in what they're talking about most of the time. I mean, and some people I just can't, I don't like their podcasts. Like, what's his name? I don't even think he's really a comedian, even though he identifies as one, and other people identify him as one. Dude with the mullet that used to be on The Real. I can't think of his name right now, though. Well, just don't do like this asshole over here did and get a rooster. I don't know who the hell decided to have a rooster in this neighborhood, but there's a guy a few blocks away that I was walking the store the other day. For that, roosters suck. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I found everything to ramble about. I pretty much could. Yeah, like Margaret says, yeah, we can't have roosters in the city. No roosters in the city. I love y'all for watching. I'll probably delete this tomorrow. This was just to hang out with, my people. You are my people, and this was just to hang out with my people. Talk about some of the stuff you guys had to talk about, and chat with everybody. And Margaret and Dee, you guys are going to be getting some gifts from me for being supporters of the Buy Me a Cup of Coffee page. And I'm probably ending that, and I'm probably getting off my high horse and going back to Patreon soon. That's because I want to be able to do more stuff inside of the app than what Buy Me a Cup of Coffee allows me to do. To tell you the truth, I hate the freaking name. I really do. I can never seem to stick to something unless I really like it either. And I don't like that it's restrictive in the way that it is restrictive. I mean, my mind could change, but I doubt it. So anyways, I love y'all for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting and everything that you do. And thank you for being such an awesome community. I mean, that's the biggest deal right there. And why I keep doing these, even if there's only going to be a few of us in the room, is because this tight-knit community is really awesome. And it means something to me. And I know it means something to some of you too. So I love you all for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye. You're welcome, guys. Anytime.